Going on, Jerome's Minnesota Fighting Vikings quarterback Kirko Cousins is coming off of a career season in 2022. 13 wins, getting it done. 8 fourth quarter come from behind game-winning drives, etc. And the Vikings didn't extend Kirk this offseason, and he is going to be a free agent next offseason. And Kirk has said he's perfectly fine playing this year out and see what happens. Also, could you imagine if Kirk wins the Super Bowl and becomes a free agent at age 35? Like, he's betting on himself, going to go all Joe Flacco 2012 on the bet, get all the monies, which has been sort of Kirk's MO throughout his career. But here's the top 10. 10 free agent destinations for Kirk Cousins next offseason. Number 1, the Jets. So, number 1 is not the Jets, but I didn't want to put this into the universe. Well, I kind of just did. But if Kirk ends up with the Jets, which I think is unlikely because they just traded for Rodgers. Also, Rodgers has $58 million debt on his contract in 2024. And yeah, the Jets did have interest in Kirk back in 2018, but that was with a different GM, John Idzik, not Joe Douglas, currently in power. So I don't see it happening, and also I don't want it to happen because if Kirk goes to the Jets, that means that Rodgers could come here, and I can't have that anymore. Now, this is different than Favre. Rodgers is legitimately washed, so I'm just going to completely take that out. But number 10, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, here's what's interesting, because a lot of these teams are going to be bad, and a lot of these teams are going to need quarterbacks, and this upcoming 2024 draft looks like it's going to be talent-rich at the quarterback position. You look at Drake May, you look at Caleb Williams, etc. So there could be a number of first-round picks at quarterback, but free agency comes before the draft, and a team could and should hitch their wagons to Kirk, even at 35, especially if he's playing at a high level, coming off 2 straight career seasons with the Vikings. And I think the Bucs could make some sense, where the defense, Bull still has some nice defensive pieces together. I don't believe in Baker Mayfield. I don't believe in Kyle Trask. So it could be a spot where you do have Mike Evans, you do have Chris Godwin, you do have some nice pieces as like, hey, instead of trying to burn it down and rebuild around a rookie, can we get one more last ride out of Kirk Cousins and go from there? It's possible. Next up, number 9. The greasy grimy Green Bay Packers. Now, I understand that the Packers signed Jordan Love to a 1-year extension. They didn't pick up his 5th-year option, but they gave him a 1-year extension with like $13.5 million guaranteed. But if this is just a crash and burn situation and it's completely poopy, maybe they look across the river and they pull a reverse Brett Favre in this situation, where it would be hilarious because allegedly the Packers have all these weapons, man. I mean, Christian Watson is supposed to have a higher ceiling than Justin Jefferson or Romeo Doubs or Jaden Reed and all this stuff. So maybe Green Bay goes down that route. Probably not, but Next up, number 8. The commies. Now, this will be next level hilarity. Of course, Kirk Cousins started his career in Washington from 2012 to 2017, was RG3's backup, worked his way up, became the starter, 2 straight franchise tags, no long-term deal, but new ownership. Daniel Snyder is gone, and if Sling and Slam Howell, last year's 5th-round pick, isn't that guy, I mean, it could be a spot where if Rivera remains, maybe he wants to go with a veteran. And they do have some nice weapons with Scary Terry and Jahan Dotson and company. So it could be, and the Cats and the Cradle and the Silver Spoon. The prodigal son comes home, back to Washington. Next up, number 7. The Titans. So the Titans are low on this list because you do have Will Levis, 2nd-round pick, waiting in the wings. But if they determine that he's not the guy and they move on from Tannehill, which obviously they should, maybe this is the spot. And, Vrabel is stylistically a lot like Zimmer, where he wants to play good defense, he wants to run the ball, and he wants a quarterback who's going to take care of the rock. Now, Kirk Cousins coexisted with Mike Zimmer for a number of years. Would he want to be back in that situation again? I don't know, man. Next up, number 6. The Falcons. So the Falcons are stacked, man. So they drafted Bijan. They do have Drake London. They do have Kyle Pitts. And this offense is going to be a hell of a lot of fun. And Desmond Ridder, my guy, I liked him in Cincinnati. If he's not the guy, maybe the Falcons and Arthur Blank, he's really itching for getting some wins going. And Arthur Smith, he understands it. So maybe they go out and get Kirk Cousins in this spot and just plug him in. They have a young, fast defense, and they have all these weapons on offense. They have a couple of great tackles as well. So maybe that's the route they go down if they want to get the veteran. Next up, number 5, same thing with the Patriots. So, and Mac Jones sucks balls again, but I don't think he will. I think that Mac Jones will revert to his rookie season where he had Josh McDaniels as opposed to Matt Patricia and Joe Judge. But now it has Bill O'Brien back. It does have some weapons. But, I mean, it could be a spot where Belichick might need to start winning. I don't know what it is. Obviously, legacy's not on the line, but he could be impatient with Mac Jones yet again and decide to, well, we got a couple years left, so we're just gonna see what we got. We'll get the remainder out of Kirk Cousins. Go from there. Next up, number 4, the Rams. Stafford's washed, and I understand that they kept him. Sort of a bit of nostalgia. He got that contract as a reward for the Super Bowl run, which they had Kevin O'Connell, but Stafford dead and dusted, and I don't believe in Stetson Bennett. I don't buy the OTA hype. But if McVay wants to keep rolling with this veteran premise as opposed to tearing it down and rebuilding, although the Rams completely tanking and ended up with Caleb Williams would be pretty hilarious, him staying in LA. But next up, number 3. The Raiders. Now, the Raiders would make a lot of sense if this thing goes sideways to tear it down and build around a young quarterback, but they do have Davante Adams. Do they want to waste the final years of Davante with a unknown or developing quarterback? Kirk Cousins, for all of his foibles, has really helped Justin Jefferson out. Jefferson's breaking all these records through 3 seasons, and Kirk Cousins is throwing him the football, so Kirk could be Kirko Las Vegas. Next up, number 2, the Niners. Of course, yes, the whole Shanahan thing and waiting. Is Brock Purdy's elbow going to heal up? Was last year a flash in the pan? Can Trey Lance actually do something? Can Sam Darnold actually not be Sam Darnold anymore? I don't know. I doubt all 3. And the Niners, with that defense, the Niners do have weapons, and Shanahan getting some stability at quarterback, even in the twilight of his career. Maybe they're reunited, and it feels so good. And lastly, free agent option number 1 for Kirk Cousins, the Vikings. Yes. Where, hey, if and when the Vikings and Kirk have success this year, maybe they make a run at a Jerome Barty, run it back. Like, I don't care that it's going to cost a lot. I don't care that it's going to be, $45 million per year, somewhere in there. It's a great spot for him. And if Kirk has another great season, it's clear that he and Kevin O'Connell have great chemistry. You're going to keep JJ in the fold. Hawkinson, Addison is going to be another year older and wiser. The offensive line hopefully is going to be gelling around Darisaw and O'Neal. So I can't see a better spot for him. And also the Vikings, they don't have much of a plan outside of Kirk next year. It's like throw a dart at a free agent, hope to trade up for your quarterback of the future. I don't know, man. But that's it. It's top 10. Kirk Cousins 2024 free agent destinations. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skull Production Value.